5 charge shot of Zenyatta orbs in there. That does a lot of damage, and the most dangerous one often is the Fire Strike of the Reinhardt, because it can pierce through multiple members and basically fills the entirety of that corridor where Krandop is currently standing, because it's such a large projectile and does a lot of damage. If you get hit by that and you aren't careful about catching other poke, it can easily take out a Zenyatta or a Lucio who don't have a huge amount of self-healing available.
Yeah, this is Young and Beautiful's redemption as well. This is a redemption season. Last season, like you mentioned at the start of the series, I want about 2 maps.
They had a perfectly terrible season.
Yes, not an achievement that you want to hold bare, but this time around, and the last 2 maps specifically, Young and Beautiful have really taken it to HSL. HSL look ever so slightly lost, even with their new addition of the Danish powerhouse Ding.
Exchanging of voice lines there, we saw the Fire Strike and then instantly Defense Matrix activated. It's going to be eaten again. Great play from Chow to mitigate that incoming damage.
He's taking a whole lot of damage though. You can see Bruce actually gets stunned.
Shield bash.
Mid-charge or mid-thruster pack even. And he ends up falling. Like, it's so easy to take them out when they're just kind of left there. Defense Matrix isn't going to do anything against the cleave damage that Reinhardt can provide. Huni takes out Askoff. Krandop starting off that fight strong as well, but him dying here, it's not the biggest thing in the world. I mean, the spawn points are fairly close for both teams.
Essentially, they're Young and Beautiful, being able to very much force the issue, while HSL should have been able to sort of like coalesce and try and build up what they could with the numerical advantage that they had, could have healed up, made another engagement, knowing that Young and Beautiful would be low on offensive power.
I think Krandop actually shattered that fight as well. It's only just occurred to me that he's on like 9% and he got 2 kills as well. That's a very quick shadow. I'm going to have to look back one of the replays. Caught me a little bit off guard. Zhao is 10% towards the self-destruct, hiding around the corner, but Ding is first to go down. This is terrible for HSL once more. Zhao gets demeched as well. Huni's got that Transcendence to really rely on. Henningsung's going to fall. Again, a perfect defense for Young and Beautiful. They lose no members this time around. Be able to build up those ults. The same thing for HSL. Krandop almost lapping Henningsung, in fact, 20% away from that shadow.
Yeah, playing as well in different areas at different times, making sure to mix up the tempo, because this means that when HSL are thinking, what did we do wrong in that push? What can we address next time? You're suddenly playing a different push for next time around, because people are in different areas, and the sort of like fixes that you had in your mind aren't going to be as valuable as if you were running the same push again with the foresight that you otherwise had. Krandop, if he hits a good Fire Strike here, will get his Earth Shadow, and then it'll be a tale of 2 main tanks. But we also have so many Graviton Surge available as well. There's a first.
Beautiful early grab. The Shadow's going to come through from Henningsung, but that self-destruct isn't going to do all of anything from Young and Beautiful. Krandop still lays down the Shadow of his own, but Huni actually ends up falling to the Chow self-destruct. Both beats sent out. Instantly the damage focused on Krandop as he had the Discord Orb applied. It was cleansed away by the Xayah bubble, but the shield is going to fall. And you can see how much focus fire from HSL they have. They know the target they want to kill. Samurais earned himself a grab as well after killing Krandop. The rally might not be enough for the Brick to survive. Yikwid gets taken out, and HSL, they crack Young and Beautiful's defense.
Nice counter sound barrier there from Askoff, making sure he had that time ticking down a little bit later than FD-God did, who needed to use that to really reinforce his team after a lot of damage was taken from Chow's self-destruct sequence. And that did a lot of damage, especially to Jonah. It was actually Jonah he'd take a little bit of time to get that sound barrier because he was so far out from the remainder of his team. Good job, though, for Young and Beautiful to take an aggressive stance here. They're going to get maybe 3 fights out of Numbani Streets phase, maybe more if they can try and win this one on the corner, which is so hard to get past as an attacker.
Pretty mediocre time back as well for HSL. Only 3 minutes. Wasn't the quickest offense for them. Henningsung just diving straight into Krandop. Both nearing those shadows, but it's Jonah you've got to watch out for. He is 100% energy and just demolishing Krandop's shield as well. They're going fairly low. But the rest of Young and Beautiful will be able to resurge forward as soon as Jonah's bubbles do come online again.
He has the Graviton Surge online as well. Going to be looking to try and weave this through the defense matrix of Chow, which is the only mitigation that is available. Ding will have to try and answer it with a Transcendence. If not,
grab comes out. Instantly you see the Transcendence from Ding, but
long
someone
charge.
gets removed away. And now Henningsung has to get chased after by the rest of his team. Self-destruct launch in the back to try and clear people away, but it was too little too late as Henningsung ends up going down. The Shadow lands from Young and Beautiful, but an instant Graviton Surge from HSL makes sure that no one from Young and Beautiful can capitalize on the people that are laid down.
And when you're building those shadows as fast as Krandop is, you'll take that trade any day of the week. HSL, though, they haven't won this fight. They were basically losing this fight, and they've given up so much space on the side of Young and Beautiful. Basically, they've only got 1 point to defend here. They've given up so much room.
Henningsung with the Shadow. Crandop 80% away, but the rally to engage, and now Henningson's in trouble. Discord orb applied to him, but he's got the beat to sustain him just a little bit. A later beat and a later rally for Young and Beautiful means they're going to have those ultimates a little bit more online for a little bit longer.
Chow caught out here, going to have to duel out with this Lucio. He's got his eyes on Crandop. The micro missiles will give him a DPS to try and make this work.
Graviton Surge comes in as Henningson gets pinned out of the crowd yet again, and Jonah finds the kill. Perfect bisection of these grabs coming from Young and Beautiful. Coordination's on point as they hold HSL just before the second point.
Jonah's building these grabs so fast. We talked about it at the beginning of the series. He was outdoing Sooner last week, Jaws. Right now, he's looking at least equal with Zapray, who's a little bit slower in building up these Graviton Surges. And his last Graviton was sort of used to mollify the effects of the incoming Earth Shadow, making sure that the follow-up wasn't there, but it was sort of like mutually assured lack of destruction. No one could really follow up any of the ultimates that were used there. But speaking of which, Crandop's ready to go again, and he can be so aggressive on Henningson, who's got very little in the way of charge.
FD got up in the skies. There's the self-destruct as well as the Shadow getting laid down. Chow launching that one in. I mean, you're going maybe to even form right in front of Jonah. Of course, he's going to right-click here. A Transcendence to see them through the fight as well. As HSL are cleared off at this point, they need to be able to find a big pick here, or it could be all over. The grab's going to lock them in that tiny room, and they managed to kill off at least Hooney. Bruce falls as well as he tried to launch in the self-destruct, but Young and Beautiful is still standing strong.
For now, they're trying to stabilize, but Jonah finds himself out on his own. He will be chased down here, potentially. Lucio doesn't want to try that one. Too much energy, and now they're going to go for
Henningson.
Henningson.
Straight back into the front line. They know Jonah wasn't there to protect Crandall. Fisher comes back on the Doomfist as well. A perfect punch into the wall, ends his life so quickly. And HSL, they managed to finally cap second.
Now they do. Fish are going to have to go back to spawn now. Back on the Brigadier for you. Your fun is over, but it was useful, and we saw Young and Beautiful caught out twice in that room. The first time they were grabbed there by Zapray, knowing, hey, if you guys are all in a small room, that means we can get maximum cleave through with Henningson and his hammer. And the second time, Henningson saw all of them in the room, so it was like, I could just charge into here. And it's such a narrow corridor that I'm bound to pick up someone and do that burst damage.
Graviton Surge is going to come out early. Crandop's earned that Shadow as well. Tries to go for the pin, but gets moved away. The beat come through from HSL to make sure they survive, and Crandop is completely caught out. When you got that much HP for HSL, you're going to run forward. You're not going to hold shield if you're Henningson. Yikwitz gets taken out as well. HSL now putting Young and Beautiful on the back foot as the last fight approaches.
Young and Beautiful have a couple of tools to try and buy stability with, though. They're going to have to invest heavily. Both of their support ultimates will be available to keep them alive as they put themselves between this payload and its destination. Crandop's going to be looking for a mad Shadow, but Henningson is going to be just as eager to lay down the hammer and to rock the earth under Young and Beautiful. A tale of two main tanks potentially as the Zayas race to get that Graviton Surge online for a big playmaking ultimate.
Zapray is so close. He's 17% away. The boop up was going to be good. Henningson trying to protect the rest of his team. Still Crandall on the side once again, but he still manages to find the pin. But the instant shatter from Henningson is going to lay them all on their back. A grab to follow it up as well as they march on forward. A perfect boot from FD God to sustain them for a little bit longer. But look at this again. Just the surging forward and the speed booster of Askoff to match. Crandall gets run over, and it is now Young and Beautiful holding on to their last limbs in this fight. The Graviton Surge came due from Jonah, but it wasn't enough to find anybody as FD God falls, and only a couple of meters now remains for HSL to cap the points.
They've got overtime, but it looks like that's all they may well get here.
Self-destruct, not available just yet. Chow gets it online to clear people off, but he doesn't need to use it. Henningson laid down another Shatter as round one completes for the second or third point cap for HSL.
Speaking of Henningson and Shadows, he couldn't believe his luck when he saw Crandall going for that charge back into his team. He was like, okay, I'm in no man's territory here. I need to get back to my team. But the second you're in that charge, you lose control of your Reinhardt, except a little bit of rudimentary steering. And during that, you are so vulnerable, and your team is so vulnerable as well, to getting hit with the Earth Shadow. I believe it was a 5-man from Henningson, and they only managed to pick off Hooney in that particular instance, but that's enough because everyone else, they had to invest so heavily to keep themselves safe from the effects of a follow-up towards that Shatter. HSL in a pretty good position right now, but Young and Beautiful, if they can cap this entire map with more than a minute in their time bank, they will win the series.
OT pushes almost every single opportunity. HSL really struggled to get into the third point, but after second, it was like, hey, they're dominant. They know exactly what they're doing. Their ult's almost perfect. Henningson hitting the mad Shatter, actually. on Crandop, and Crandop has been going so aggressive in these fights as well, and as soon as you kind of tweak that, if you're HSL, you're like, okay, he's going to go for the charge here, we know he wants to get someone out of the grab, he's going to try and run to the back line when he's got barrier on him. They can telegraph that really easily, and that's exactly what Henningsun did. I know how you play now, Crandop. As soon as you go for this, I'm just going to shatter you in the back when you're charging, and it's going to be easy win for us.
Yeah, it's sort of like in the mind of every Reinhardt in this Reinhardt versus Reinhardt duel, that you've got to sort of like download the information. You've got to figure out how the enemy main tank likes to play, what his internal tempo is, how his calls are going to be transmitted to the remainder of his team. Looks like both of our teams are still going for that 3-3 mirror. Historically, this has been going towards Young and Beautiful. Henningsun's going to try for a fire strike here, likely it'll be eaten by the D.Va, and looks like Chow's not going to be a factor in this fight.
Chow got booped off the edge, yeah, so no incoming damage mitigation. Henningsun gets really low, but manages to survive. His shield does break. Young and Beautiful reconvening on the low ground. Chow gets demeched, and he's going to get killed off as well. And now Young and Beautiful can move onto the point with little worries about a D.Va eating most of their damage. Dinger's going to fall as well. Very quick cap by Young and Beautiful. Henningsun's gone as well. Also, this is almost record time.
Well, Crandop used the Nerf Shadow in the first fight last time. He didn't manage to use it this time, but he has generated one. Look at the premium he has over Henningsun. He's 65% ahead of the other Reinhardt, which means he can get incredibly aggressive. He can try and get through Henningsun's defenses here, and Chow, maybe a bad spawn, will hide out in the stairwell, but it's
a really bad spawn. They're just going to go for it. I mean, they're trapped in this staircase.
Just blocking them in.
Chow's trying to push them away, but Ding is going to be there as well. Almost an easy pick off. FD Gore finds the assassination kill, and Chow gets demeched as well. This is disastrous for HSL. The spawn point's pretty close, but Young and Beautiful are making sure the HSL don't have the opportunity to get the maximum number of fights out of this.
Yeah, they can't play that first corner like we saw Young and Beautiful try to do, even though they ceded so much space while attempting it. HSL maybe will only get one fight out of this mid-ground, and that's terrible for Numbani. You need to be able to get maximum value. FD God wants to play up high. They may try for the push up and then the shatter under that we saw on the final part of the payload defense as well. That may be the play here, but of course, since they're coming through high ground, he can also isolate someone.
He did get booped, so he is spotted currently. HSL knows exactly where he is. He got discorded as well, potentially looking for a pick-off. Nice little boop onto FD God. He's going to try and boop Henningsun. The shot hits the ground as well. Oh, it's a perfect setup. Crandall gets booped away though, so he can't do the maximum amount of damage. But he's still going low. Chow finds a nice double kill with his self-destruct in the back line, forcing the Transcendence coming through from Young and Beautiful. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. They got Brewston to rely on, but he instantly got demeched. Oh, it's a perfect setup from Young and Beautiful there. It looks so good. But Chow's mech saved the day.
It was both not enough jaws and also, I think, too much. I don't think Kuni had much business using a Transcendence at that point. Crandop is starting to read what they want to do. They know they want to go for these boot up Shatter plays, and they were being answered rather well. Of course, they couldn't stop the Shatter coming through, but they counterattacked in such a fantastic way, and Chow got so much value out of
Very early
self-destruct.
speed boost. Sting's going to use that Transcendence so early. Graviton Surge is going to come in. They're going to have to capitalize. Another one does come through as well. No Transcendence anymore.
Man.
A beautiful Shatter on the back line. They just need to be able to kill Crandop, but he's more than safe here. And now they've isolated people in the back. Chow managed to at least find one, but a boop off into the river will be enough to secure his life. Henningsun going low, but still managed to take out Joan. It is so even still. But Young and Beautiful, their car is still slowly moving backwards. HSL making sure these fights are so painful for Young and Beautiful.
Yeah, it's not going to be very even while Zapre has this much energy. The primary damage dealer right now for HSL, definitely lifting the weight that Zaya is known for. It's going to be a quick disengagement there from Young and Beautiful. They need to try and take stock of what they have. Brewston's going to reclaim his mech and 89% of his ultimate charge. We've got a couple of tools to try and make this work with. They can go for that shatter into the self-destruct combination, especially if they can get that boop up again.
They're going to look for another boop, but he might not even need it. He's running straight towards the brick, but finally gets booped away. The flame strike through the shield, though. Managed to snipe Fisher away. Crandall finds himself 3 kills, but Chow with the return. Zapre still fighting on the point. But it's still a numbers advantage for Young and Beautiful right now. Not before Zapre can say anything about it, though. Another flame strike will secure his life. The charge back in to try and find some more. Crandall with 4 kills total in this fight and counting.
They're bleeding the clock so well, though. Chow and... Oh, was that a sound...
That was a solo beat from Askov. This might just be good enough to actually send them back in. Jonas on the Tracer. He knows there's very little time for them to actually fight on this payload, as HSL have such good spawns.
Yeah, we're going to have to try and go for the assassination onto Ding there. Self-destruct won't claim anything as Ding uses Transcendence.
Ding uses Transcendence on the payload, Harry, but will it be enough to actually see them through? A beat and a shatter came through, and now Jonah's on the back line, harassing the main tank. A Discord Orb is applied, and Jonah easily minces through his health bar. Henningsen ends up falling. HSL, like I said, they're making Young and Beautiful pay. We didn't think they'd get more fights out at this point, but it's at least been 3 or 4 now.
They're paying in seconds for this, and they will end up paying in minutes. It's going to be the final dregs of HSL, potentially peeled off this payload. Zapri delivered to the waiting claws of Jonah, and now it will be a completion for Young and Beautiful on their offense. We'll have 3 minutes in their time back. Remember what I said, if they complete with more than 1 minute, there is no way for HSL to win this series. I'll be hoping for a draw. If HSL can draw this out to overtime or stop them entirely, they are still in this series, can take us to that 5th map, can make the reverse sweep happen.
Crandop moving around the corner. They've got so many ults online. Henningsen used his shadow in the last fight, so it's up to Crandop to play aggressive here. He was looking for the boot last time around. There's the shadow, hits the ground, no beat available, good pin into the wall as well. Askoff and Fisher bite the dust. HSL thwarted for the time being. They are saving ults, they know they've got 1 more fight left. 2 minutes and 30 though, still in the time bank for Young and Beautiful.
They've got to cash in those chips and hope that paid out is stability here towards the end of this final round, or well, almost final round. 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's Young and Beautiful's effective time bank if they want to win the series here and now. Crandop needs to try and defend himself.
Graviton Surge is going to come in, Transcendence to match a beautiful bash actually onto Henningsen to make sure he doesn't get the pin kill, take someone out of the grab and instantly execute them. Young and Beautiful now playing a little bit farther back.
Yeah, they want to try and build up whatever resources they have. Crandop so close, and there's double self-destruct.
Gets launched in. Sound barrier as well from HSL. They know this is their last fight. A later self-destruct coming through from Young and Beautiful, and the shatter hits 4 people in the back. Henningsen putting the team on his back right now as he manages to clear everybody out. Payload slowly moving backwards towards Young and Beautiful. But HSL have taken yet another minute of Young and Beautiful's time back.
And it's the same story, Jules. They saw Crandop go for the disengagement charge, and Henningsen was like, is this happening again? Okay, I guess I'll go for that. Kind of what I wanted. And now, 26 seconds remain, Jules. That means that Young and Beautiful are very unlikely to be able to do this with a minute in their time bank unless somehow they get a fantastic back cap. But HSL, this means that they've managed to hang on in this series, and they can hang on even better if they can stop any completion here in such a tough area to attack. They've got the spawn advantage. Attrition is in their favor.
Crandop's got the shadows, looking Henningsen dead in the eyes, and Jonah's so close to his Graviton Surge. It's just a waiting game now. They know it cannot be a win in the series right now, so they can play it a little bit more slowly, a bit more methodically. Ding blows the Transcendence early. Crandop moving in for the shadow of his life. The grab gets eaten by Chow, but the shadow hits the ground. They still manage to find one, but he can't capitalize on it. The perfect protection coming out from HSL to make sure Zapri stays alive. Everything's piled into him, but still we're seeing Brewston chase him. And now the Zaya of HSL is out of the fight. Zapri ends his own life, but Fisher with the rally comes back in. Henningsen more than safe in this front line.
Ding looking to frag out here, and remember that Zapri will be spawning behind him, can try and circumnavigate that shield. Henningsen, the Bastion right now, keeping this cart from moving so that Zapri can return to the fight on the Doomfist.
He's got the Doom, but he instantly gets stunned up. Henningsen finds the initial kill onto Huni. This is so good for HSL. They got the spawn advantage. They just need the picks. Yikwitz is going to go down as well. Now only 5 seconds remains. Chow's going to send in the self-destruct. They've got a beat on top of it as well. No way they lose this one. Not a cheeky back cap. The cart's way too far away. Ball's trying to come in to stall for additional time, but it is the fragging Zenyatta, the new addition to HSL, cleaning the rest of Young and Beautiful up. The OT is ticking through. Henningsen misses the shatter, but it doesn't matter. HSL stopping Young and Beautiful just before third and securing the map.
And in the ultimate fight, we saw something very rare. We saw the double Graviton negation from both of the Divas. Everyone's really getting a read on everyone else right now. HSL, they can start their reverse sweep here, Jules. They can take us to that map 5. They can take us on a luxurious vacation to Nepal should they so desire. But to do that, they've got to win out on Rialto. And it seems that right now, like, my theory that the classic 3-3 to 3-3 was always going in Young and Beautiful's favor is starting to falter. It's starting to be drawn apart as HSL on the defense there, really getting the number of Young and Beautiful.
It's looking pretty scary for Young and Beautiful still. They've got to be very wary of this reverse sweep. Can't let it go to their heads just yet. Rialto, like you said, will be our next map. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. Do not go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back. Young and Beautiful versus HSL. HSL managed to secure Numbani. Does mean they are still in the series as we head on to Rialto.
Yeah, heading over to beautiful Rialto, our escort map. This can be where Young and Beautiful take it all, or where HSL continue the potential for a reverse sweep. They've left it till the last minute, but it seems like their 3-3 versus 3-3 game is finally picking up. They've got the read onto Crandop. They figured out how he's always going to be playing around those Graviton surges with his charges for disengagements. That's where Henningsen really catches on to the eye of the Kaiser.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that. You've got to rely on your brick player too. If you spot that happening, he's lining up. Perfect thing to do is just bash straight into him. Stun him in place means that it counts as the charge. Plus, then he can't really do much else. I mean, he can swing into the grab, yes, but then he's just getting focused down so hard.
And when it comes to relying on your Brig and your Zyra as well, we may need to see a adjustment from the side of Young and Beautiful, but when Crandop needs to make these disengagement charges, that people place themselves in front of Henningsen, making sure he can't go for those shadows, but he wants to hold up a Brig shield there, use your personal barrier or Zarya maybe, just play that rotating front line to ensure that it's a little bit harder to go for those free 5-man Earth Shadows.
Young and Beautiful still on 2 points. They win this, they win this series, and they will grant HSL their first loss of Season 2 here in 2019. As we look around, beautiful Rialto. HSL are on the defense, of course, and then we got Young and Beautiful on the offense.
Buy some wonderful fish food here. Some of it is frozen inside health packs. That's what health packs are, I imagine. They're just super nutritious food.
Well, probably not, but it is the future, I guess.
Yeah, man. They're like all of the meals are like pills.
Yeah, I mean, there's also fish there that you could just eat normally, and fruit and stuff.
That's decorative fish.
Decorative fish, where you just go in and buy the pill for the fish.
You ever seen the fish in that shop change? They're plastic.
Sure. It's like Futurama, to be honest with you. We're turning into a very Futurama-esque future in the Overwatch universe, apparently.
Hopefully Overwatch won't be cancelled like 5 times. On the defense right now, Young and Beautiful rolling out with the 3-3, or rather HSL on the defense are going to have Ding on the Ana, which means they are going to have that long-range point healing, which means Henningsen can get a bit more aggressive, but won't be able to do as much damage, won't be as much offensive output as you would otherwise think when you have Zenyatta who can continuously spam orbs of destruction while also healing passively through the Orb of Harmony. Also means that Crandop is going to feel a little bit safer after that Bardic Grenade comes out, if they can force that Bardic Grenade, especially to be used in a more defensive manner as opposed to an offensive one.
I don't know where Yickwood just went straight to the front line, thought, it's all right, I'll just be up here, no worries. Trying to find an early boot, potentially, but...
Maybe looking for a Sombra?
Yep, also that. I mean, now it's 15 seconds to pass, so they can hold tabs, so they know exactly what they're kind of running into, plus they're seeing the Diva, of course. Nice little corner hold here. Like you said, Ding's going to have to hold back. Already at 60% towards a nano. Crandop's been taking a whole heap of damage.
Yeah, if Ding's careful here to avoid any incoming charge shots from Honey, he should be in a pretty safe position for the entirety of this fight. It means Henningsen's going to have a lot of side abilities. Yona, he's broken the blockade, but it's quickly put backwards.
Yeah, Crandop going aggressive as well. I mean, why not? Ground quickly covered by Chow as he gets to the high ground. It's going to be fairly helpful. First ult online. It's going to be Ding's nano boost as they do push around the corner. Has one very low Diva. Chow does not receive the nano.
Instantly destroyed.
Instantly kills off the Reinhardt, but that nano is going to go into Zapper. It means he's going to be able to charge ult ever so quickly, but he hasn't got a front line to really deal with. He managed to kill Jonah, yes, but he still has to go through that shield. Crandop does get shield slammed. Doesn't mean he gets sent to the floor, but still, HSL playing on the back foot until Henningsen arrives.
Car hasn't moved too much first, so Henningsen does have time to rejoin his team, and of course he can build up that Shadow incredibly quickly by spamming into the Graviton Surge. Right now it's being looked for.
He had the nano boost, so he knows he's going to be ahead in ult charge compared to Hooney. Manages to grab him, solo one. Nice Shadow as well onto Crandop. No charge needed there, Henning. It was Ding who take him out in the end. They're going to hold him just before the first point for the time being. And Ding getting these nanos on so early as well. Jonah donates his body to the health bars, to the ult banks of HSL as he does run it in. Doesn't know, he knows he can't escape at the end of the day. They got a Lucio to kind of speed him down. Dink's going to have an ult every single fight, man. That's so scary if you're crowned up. You're going to have to play a little bit more passively, fearing the nano being put on Henningsen.
Yeah, but you don't really want to put the nano on Henningsen as much when you're up against the Nerf Shadow, because it means that you're going to be tested in terms of your resolve as a Reinhardt. You've got to be cognizant that you need to block out that Shadow, but you want to be swinging to get a maximum uptime out of that ultimate. So potentially they're going to wait here to force out a Nerf Shadow from Crandop and then counter-attack using the nano.
Could also put it on Brig, make her almost immortal, it feels like. Zapri 50% up on that ult. Self-destruct gets launched onto the bridge and finds Fisher. Nice pin onto Zapri to isolate him from the team, and a shatter to boot as well. Soundbarrier's going to save him for the time being, but the full focus fire of Young and Beautiful does take down Zapri, and Nano Boost goes on to Henningsen, but can he do all of anything? He's getting chunked out so quickly with a Discord Orb applied to him. No cleanse with a bubble as the Zaya's already dead, and he ends up falling to the hands of FD God. Young and Beautiful, they managed to cap first point. 3 minutes and 40 seconds now remains.
Yeah, Zapri unfortunately getting caught there with the charge. Did have his personal barrier on, so he didn't receive any damage and instead got 40 charge for his efforts, but was in a position where he had nothing to protect himself and was in the midst of the enemy team. And it was all too much that Crandop was like, oh, I guess I'll just go for a free Earth Shadow right here, take down that Zarya, make sure that you guys don't have the damage to try and brawl out against Jonah, who's ready to bring out his own Graviton Surge himself, and Zapri want to make sure that both of them are not eaten in concert again as they were during the previous fight, and it seems like both of the Reinhardts right now are being incredibly even with their generation of their own ultimates.
Oh, you got to watch out. Jonah's still got the grab. He sends it on the floor. Self-destruct from Chow to clear the rest of HSL away. Nice boop kill from Askov. Actually finishes Jonah off with a melee. He's never going to have a Zai yet again. Transcendence is going to be used instantly to make sure that Zen doesn't fall. The rest of the team are going to march forward, but now they have to be scared. HSL have a Graviton Surge of their own. Can't use it just yet as the Shadow was laying down. Young and Beautiful haven't found a pick. They've used so many ultimates in this fight and have got nothing out of it.
Yeah, Henningsen's got a nice long area now to put down an Earth Shadow. Potentially can hit so many people. He knows Crandop isn't going to have his for a long while just yet, so we can be even more aggressive. Reinhardt try and take charge, but first it's about taking charge of a high ground. He wants to have the initiative with this engagement.
Self-destruct launched in on the stairs. The big boop is going to end Fisher's life. Henningsen gets put on the floor, but the issue is he hits the Shadow straight into the shield. The Graviton Surge is good for a couple of kills, but the rallying Brig is to set the sail forwards. Young and Beautiful still under a lot of pressure though as the beat came out. However, they're still playing fairly far up. Crandop is going to get instantly killed. The rest of Young and Beautiful go back to spawn.
Zapri wants to take advantage of the high energy that he has at the end of this fight to try and get a little bit of extra charge towards the Graviton Surge himself. It's going to be an exchange of mortars, but no one's going to be really hitting anything right there. And look at this, 1 minute and 45 seconds remain for Young and Beautiful on their offense here. We'd expect a little bit of a faster attack from a team that had been so dominant in the 3-3 duels thus far, but Zapri seems to be doing a great job of brawling out after losing Henningsen in these fights.
Graviton Surge still not available like you said, but it's coming online fairly soon if you're Jonah. Juta does take out the high ground. I mean, you don't really want to do that if you're Zaya, but the rest of HSL are able to force him away. Yiquids ends up going down as well. Young and Beautiful going for the full reset. It's a bit of a dry fight for them. They don't want to use anything. They know HSL have a stacked ult bank, or at least they think they do. Zapri's been doing so much damage on the Zaya as well.
Zapri,
that was cheeky. He's actually dead.
Did he get booped out? I think he may have, given the assist and the kill feed.
Yeah, he's straight dead. Jonah's going to be able to find that kill, and now Young and Beautiful pushing on forwards. Grindop's got the Shadow, he does lay it down, catches the Brig from around the wall as well. Askov's going to fall. Flame Strike not enough to finish off the Brig, but I'm not sure it might even matter. Dash straight back onto the point from Crandop. The rest is history.
That one might have just been a huge FD God play. He just won an entire fight with a single boop, just putting Zapri where he didn't want to be. Zapri was doing his best Sinatra impression. He was well known for playing on this particular point of Rialto up in the gallery, the top of that theater, laying down mortars, able to quickly generate these Gravitons. Zapri was trying for the same thing, but he got caught out by an ambitious Lucio, and now Yona going to lay down this grab.
Really early grab, a Transcendence to match. A nice pin yet again onto Fisher. You can't get shield slammed if you're already dead. Yiquids is going to fall as well. So they do trade Briggs in the end, but Henningsen once more just under so much pressure from both Jonah and Crandop. As soon as that Discord Orb is applied and there's no Zaya bubble to cleanse it off, you're as good as dead if you've got Crandop walking at you.
Zapri is going to survive, however, meaning you'll be able to carry over the energy from a previous fight the same as Jonah, which means they're going to be about equal, except for that Zapri has a Graviton Surge ready to go. It's going to be very hard to mitigate this, but Young and Beautiful have the tools that they need. We have 3 support ultimates. That's a lot of stability if it's available to try and keep them alive.
Zander just runs in so aggressive, gets the grab on the back line, but the Shadow's going to be good from the side of Young and Beautiful. Jonah gets the kill into Zander. An answering Shadow from Henningson. The self-destruct coming in from Bruton. Can they find anybody? Not just yet, but it forces Henningson to turn around with his shield, resulting in a sound barrier coming through from HSL. They know if they lose Henningson in this situation, it's as good as over.
Well, now it's Jonah's turn. Needs to make his way through a defense matrix, weave through a long-range Graviton Surge maybe, but no. Both teams are going to posture. They're both going to sidle up to the carpet. Remember, Young and Beautiful get a little bit of healing from it as Jonah goes in for a sneaky grab, potentially.
Got to watch out for that Matrix again. It's all up to Chow to eat it, but they're focusing him down. His health bar is so low, and he gets demegged. A free grab for Young and Beautiful. Henningson is going to go down. Ding with the Transcendence is going to heal everybody up, but the focus fire is just so good. Zapri's going to fall. Crandop can even just sit on this chatter for the next engagement, but there's only a couple of meters left. HSL aren't even going to be able to get back to the point. And Young and Beautiful, they cap third.
Great zoning there onto Fisher, making sure he could not be the one to contest the cart. The young squire was accosted by the Crusader in his mighty armor. Reinhardt is one of the best ways as well to try and deal damage to a Brigida, because of course she does have a huge amount of mitigation available through a personal barrier. It only really blocks herself, but very hard to dedicate the damage to do 500 damage before you can even touch that Brigitte, but you pierce through that barrier with your charge, you pierce through it with your fire strike, and of course with your hammer swings as well, so you can put down the pressure that is required. And Young and Beautiful, they managed to win this one out with some time in the bank as well, which means if HSL have to complete this in overtime, they will be the first ones to attack, and Young and Beautiful will have a clear win condition. But the win condition for now, Jaws, hold them anywhere.
And it is 27 seconds, like you said. Not the worst time back in the world. Rialto we do normally see go to OT, especially on these last pushes. Spawn doors are ever so close, as they always are, to that last point. Plus, there's a lot of cover and 2 different entrances as well. They're not exactly close to each other, of course. Young and Beautiful running kind of same old on the defense. No big surprises. No Ana to be seen. Ding's Ana, though, did do a lot of work for them on the defense for themselves. I mean, those nano boosts were coming online every single fight. It's not too uncommon to see one on the attack if you're expecting the enemy team to play up to your spawn doors as well.
Yeah, Ding's generation of nano boost was incredibly impressive, making sure that there was enough damage coming through to continuously be able to fire out those biotic rifle rounds to deliver 75 healing a shot, I believe. And that does mean that you can build up that nano boost and have that aggressive ultimate ready to go before a Zenyatta would. And Zenyatta's can build up their Transcendence incredibly fast in the 3-3 meta because of the large hitboxes that are available to them, as well as the consistent output of healing. And oh, that's not good.
Oh, I thought he was going to land on the bridge, but absolutely not. Nice first initial pick by FD God. Boop and Fisher. You get so much ult charge for that as well. You are donated the entirety of their health bar and ult charge, of course, as you insta-kill them. FD God's so high up, I'm not even sure they know where they are. To be honest with you, Henningson, you've got to be careful. Doesn't manage to block it just in time, though.
Well, Reddit's going to be fisting over that one for a while. FD God's going to try for it again.
Not sure he's going to get anybody this time to boot the Lucio, but he can wall ride his way to safety.
If they can force a disengage here, FD God can go for it again, but instead it's going to be Young and Beautiful who disengage. We want to take that corner hold that we saw HSL use. This is one of the most defensible spots in all of Rialto. This is a harsh 90-degree bend, and the second you move past it, you're going to be subject to a lot of fire.
FD God continuing to look for these boosts, but an entire rotation actually from HSL on the high ground. Still looking out for FD God. They know he's high in the sky. You have like small wall hacks when you have the Zenyatta Discord orb on somebody. You can see the orb kind of flying around. It does take 3 seconds to disengage from the Tiger when they're not seen. Askov ends up going down first though. HSL losing one is pretty bad, and Chao's mech falling as well. They're just not clearly ready to drop down. Right into the clutches of Crandop. Henningson's going to go down, and HSL burning a lot of time here. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Almost half the time back gone already. That was close. Yiquid ends up falling.
And some good presence of mind there from Young and Beautiful as well to sort of like hold off on as much DPS as they could have done on the retreating players. Yona, good use of a personal barrier right there, and Askov caught out.
Instantly got him.
FD God's turn.
Potentially, it's a little bit too far for a boot, I think. Yeah, he's so good at finding these small little spots.
He is the Reddit Lucio of our current crop. We'll have to see if he continues with that, but it's much safer to just go for this defensible spot, especially since you know that Yiquid needs to respawn and rejoin you, especially considering that FD God can take a lot of damage. Long range from his team needs that repair pack to be applied to him potentially when he goes for these more risky plays.
Yeah, you've got to be a little bit more careful with the Lucio. A Discord orb and your life isn't going to last long as soon as you're focused down.
Does have a Harmony orb now.
Oh, no, he's all right.
Not the landing you wanted. Doesn't mean everyone's going to be able to engage together.
Ding already taken out Huni. Maybe a nice little volley. Instant re-engagement from Young and Beautiful, though. They have to make something stick with them. One of their supports down. It's disastrous. Yikwitz is going to fall as well. That pick-off from Ding basically secured HSL that fight. They're going to be able to get this payload moving once again, and potentially Young and Beautiful go for the re-engage. They've got a lot of ults to bear, but it's the walk-up on this bridge is going to be so dangerous for them.
Good news is, though, Zapre went down, which means he isn't going to have the energy that he wants. Yona is. Huni,
oh, the return kill.
Ding. Okay, this means for HSL, they can't really win this fight anymore, especially with Young and Beautiful being that close to spawn and having so many ultimates to bear right now. Crandop's just going to chase them all off. Got to be careful not to get back capped on, of course, but look at the time back, Jaws. 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining for HSL. This could be dire straits for looking at 1 or maybe 2 fights. We've got the ultimates to try and make this work. The playmaker has got to be the Graviton Surge. They've got an advantage over Yona, but Brucein, he can use his self-destruct in a very defensive manner. That's kind of a meta for the D.Va ultimate right now, and there's
nice
the
little boop straight into the shatter. Doesn't find anybody just yet as the self-destruct's launched sky high and finds FD Gods. No more pesky Lucio shenanigans for you, I'm afraid. Transcendence is going to get used as they do try and funnel all the damage and all the health, in fact, into Crandop. Younger people trying to keep him alive, but it's not enough. It's not there. The rally as well is only building up armor. It's so easy for HSL to just funnel all of their damage in. Graviton Surge is going to come out. There's going to be an answering slam coming through from Henningson, but is it going to be enough? Fisher finds one in Yikwitz. I think it is. Jonah falls. There you go. Brucein dead as well. With 13 seconds to spare, HSL managed to find the first point cap.
FD God and Crandop getting a little bit too smart for their own heads right there. They managed to boop up for Reinhardt. They also booped up 2 other people, meaning that there was no one where the Reinhardt was usually standing behind. They're all up in the air, still behind the shield. And of course, it's a very limited vertical hitbox that is given to a cone of effect of Earth Shatter, meaning no one got hit. And then Jonah was like, do I really want to use my Graviton Surge here? Ends up doing it in desperation. And Young and Beautiful now going to try and hold on the high ground while the car continues to move around these first 2 bends.
It's really early engagement, and why not? Like you said, that's free space. They're taking up right now. Crandop starting to go down to the ground. They need to be able to contest. They don't want this cart moving any longer. They have got the Shatter online. Henningson's looking towards his as well. The Shatter hits the ground, gets the D.Va. Doesn't really find anything else. Askov was stunned in the back line too, but it's now a disengaged Young and Beautiful. They've thrown it in without all of anything happening.
Henningson's ready to take his own turn right now. If Crandop presses that shift key, you can be damn well sure that Henningson is going to press his Q and return.
So many ults online as well for HSL. The self-destruct is launched in by Young and Beautiful. Doesn't quite find anything just yet. Or in fact, that was HSL. Askov ends up falling down to Bruce and using those micro missiles. And the Graviton Surge is good though. Young and Beautiful, they're all caught up in the corner. The rally armor's coming through just to make sure Crandop can survive again. But Zapre has had such a feast, such a banquet in the back line. Young and Beautiful caught completely unawares. They got grabbed away and Fisher... Zapre's like, okay, that's 2 supports in the back. 200 HP, he's not going to last long against like fully charged Xayah.
Meanwhile, Jonah, not quite so effective with his Graviton Surge. I think it was more of a zoning grab. One person just plunked themselves in it and was summarily executed, but HSL just winning out in the brawl there so well. Fisher managing to survive despite getting a lot of attention onto himself, and now it has to be an aggressive play from Crandop to try and make this one work.
Henningson gets booped up yet again. Shadow does land in the back, but the beat to match. Crandop gets focused out. That Xayah bubble instantly bursting. FD God's going to fall as well. This is 2 minutes for HSL. This is at least a couple of fights if they don't make it in this first push. Young and Beautiful once again invest so much into that engagement that HSL are sitting on almost 4, 5 ults in fact. Askov's the only one that's furthest away.
And they're going to have barely anything here. Honey can maybe get the Transcendence, but it's going to be all about for Reinhardt right now. Keep your eyes on this Crusader. He can lay down all of Young and Beautiful into the ground right now and turn these flowers into a little bit of compost.
Crandop is going extremely low. They're trying to focus him out yet again. A grab is eaten by Brucein. Zapre's wing condition is taken clean off the map. A Transcendence as well to keep them alive. They have to invest almost everything into this fight, otherwise Young and Beautiful are just going to lose right here. Even the Shatter hits the ground, but problem is the rally is still going down. A 3-man Shatter from Crandop, but he instantly gets taken out. And now Henningson marching forward towards the spawn doors of HSL. The grab's going to be good though. HSL not committing the self-destruct just yet. They know they've at least got one more fight in them.
Jonah redeeming himself so well there. Crandop had to hit the shadow of his life, and taking down 3 people was exactly what was required. They need to stagger Chow now. They need to burn off the remainder of his time back. It's possible now that HSL will have to complete in overtime, or at least with less time than Young and Beautiful have. But this is winnable right here. Young and Beautiful can claim the series, Jaws. If they can hold for just 51 more seconds, they'll claim it all. If not, we've got to go to another round of Rialto, then possibly Nepal after. The aggression is there. there. Crandop desperately trying to build up towards that Earth Shatter. He's using a Fire Strike to do so because he knows Henningsen has the premium. Zapre has the premium. And Chow and Bruiser right now, they're drawing equal. This could be all about the explosive plays from the Divas. We need to circumnavigate so many shields, though. But no defensive ultimates are available. Everyone's trying to get there so quickly. Fisher's about to get it. Ding as well, and Honey's going to also join him.
They're not willing to engage without those ults, and Zapre actually immediately goes down. One Vitality for HSL. This bomb's going to have to be big because Askov's already dead. HSL, two-man disadvantage now. Young and Beautiful use that Transcendence and push themselves forward. HSL falling at the last hurdle as Young and Beautiful still have ults to pair. The Shadow's going to hit the ground, and so do HSL's dreams. OT's going to tick through. Chow ends up going down, and Young and Beautiful are going to claim it.
Not sure if it was a boot there, but Zapre, he got caught out early. There was so much posturing, like you said, Jules. They didn't want to engage until they had the ultimates, until they could make those plays. They knew that they had the resources at their disposal to make it happen. But Zapre, while he was posturing up, using his personal barrier, get that energy so you can brawl out so effectively. Be the main DPS that you need to be as that high-energy Xayah gets caught out. And then your push is so toothless. You don't have that energy beam that's so important for both burning down a Diva, getting rid of the Reinhardt shield, or just assassinating someone who finds himself out of position.
You saw how slow they were playing as well. I mentioned, like, they're waiting for ults. They need to wait for these supports. They need to wait for rally. Ding was so close to the Transcendence as well. As soon as you get those online, you can make their engagement. And it was like a switch flipped for Young and Beautiful. It's like, okay, they're playing it slow. We just play aggressive here. They're going to have to blow something to keep their Xayah alive. They ran him straight down, and that was it. It was all over from there. As soon as Xayah dead, like you said, it's done. Most of the damage from the comp, especially the splash damage from the right clicks and the support assassination potential, it's all over. It's all gone.
And not only that, you know you have the advantage in terms of the spawn attrition, as we call it, because they were spawning so much closer. If they lose someone in those fights and it's going slow, that person will get back a lot quicker than Zapre could on a Xayah. He'd have to swap over onto a Tracer or a Doomfist like we've seen previously and you can currently see on your screen right now. So you can play that a little bit more in the aggressive style, because if you lose someone, it's not so much of a bad thing. It's always, of course, a bad thing, but it's not as bad as it would be for the attacking team. And great understanding of win conditions there from Young and Beautiful will claim their second win. And like we talked about at the beginning of this series, it's such a far fling from what we thought Young and Beautiful were.
They only claimed 2 maps last season. Now they're on their second series win in 2 weeks, currently undefeated. They've got to be feeling good with themselves. And now we've got AT facing up against Clockwork Vendetta as our second match of the day. There's been a lot of upsets so far. Young and Beautiful looking like a top-tier team currently. And with all the roster shuffles as well. We always thought it would be so good for HSL to pick up Ding. Had a brief period where he kind of stepped back from Overwatch and then stepped back in. And he's been performing out of his mind as well. This loss is going to take it pretty hard. However, I think rest assured, HSL can feel pretty good about this series. There's just been such phenomenal work from them with the new addition to the roster.
Yeah, HSL going to now sit at 1-1, but like you said, Angry Titans, they're currently sitting at 0-1, the same for Clockwork Vendetta. Both of these teams are going to be hungry for their first win, and both of them in different ways are sort of fan favorites. So much worldwide attention has been garnered by Clockwork Vendetta for their unique approach to playing Overwatch and their speciality heroes, as we kindly call them, for a lot of their players. And Angry Titans, of course, winners of the previous season, and they've been less than stellar after basically being picked apart, poached by various teams, including a couple of North American academies.
Well, to find out how that series goes down, AT will face Clockwork Vendetta in just a moment. Do not go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Thanks for being with us. We're going to jump into our second series of the night. It's Clockwork Vendetta. They're going to be back on your screens. And I know they're a bit of a fan favorite, Blank, because as Legday said, they rely on a lot of specialist heroes in their compositions to make it work.
Oh yeah, this is a very cool team. They have an interesting comp. We saw it last week. We saw all the fans as well who are clamoring towards them. It's great to see. Unfortunately, weren't able to get the win out last week. They were held just short by HSL, who we've just seen. However,